here between Collins and Lord Norman. This is for the Global Wrestling Alliance Television Championship. And it's Lord...
You know, Frank, Lord Norman had some comments earlier that were very interesting. Why don't we listen to them?
It's been Steve Collins in control of this match.
Well, he started off with a slap, Frank, and that's a contemptuous gesture, especially from one man to another. And obviously his attitude has really changed. His style, not that much, but certainly the way his thought processes are obviously altering, because now he's talking about having contempt. This guy is a world-class talent, but...
Steve Collins had some interesting comments on his own, Bob, concerning this match. And Lord Norman, let's listen to those.
I know the card. Of course, you're aware of the fact that he knows that when he faces this man, he's in effect taking on the whole organization. I'm sure Steve's got a third eye somewhere that is looking and watching to see the moment that these behemoths try to hit the ring, and he has put 2 or 3 thorns in the side of the Reverend James Johnson, and the Reverend is highly upset about it. So Steve, I'm sure, he was challenged by this man by championship is after titles, and I don't blame him. It's a smart way to get a title match, but it's also risky.
Risky is certainly the key word in there. But both these men in tremendous shape and are going at it and at each other. You see Lord Norman powered Steve Collins off the rope, follows with a shoulder block, does it once again. Collins off the rope, step over on Lord Norman. Lord Norman with the leapfrog. Step over by Collins, leapfrog by Norman. And he's just going at it. There we go, arm drag, takedown by Lord Norman. And a count of 1 on Steve the Party Animal Collins. Head scissors on Lord Norman by Steve Collins. Steve Collins is thinking when he looks over at that end of the ring and sees Dominique still there with Death Row and Reverend James Johnson.
Well, I talked to Steve about that. You know, he said that he thought she was a fine girl. He doesn't want to knock her now, and like he said that everybody has the freedom of choice, and if that's her choice, he wishes her all the luck.
That's that kind of attitude that makes Steve Collins a class champion here in the Global Wrestling Alliance. Former champion. Remember, he has vacated the junior heavyweight belt, Lord Norman with a right hand to the chin of Steve the Party Animal Collins. Nice reversal by Steve Collins into a sunset flip. Norman powers out. Steve Collins right into a side headlock. And it's Lord Norman now powering Steve Collins off the rope. Steve ducks the clothesline. Norman ducks the right hand. Atomic knee drop by Lord Norman on Steve Collins, who fires back off the ropes with a clothesline. Lord Norman now down on his back in the center of the ring, back up to his feet quickly. Collins with a body slam on Lord Norman, goes for the cover and gets a count of 2. Mentioned.
Look at Norman. He's saying, hey, what do I got to do? These guys have had a couple of classic matches already, and let me tell you, looked like Collins is favoring a knee.
Sure does. He went down and just
beautiful move.
Tremendous suplex by Lord Norman on Steve the Party Animal Collins. Gets a 2 count. Collins able to power out, and Lord Norman now looks like a variation on a lateral guillotine.
Yeah. You know, we could name this one almost anything.
Yeah.
And try to sound learned, but now this is an old-fashioned amateur. It's called a banana split for obvious reasons.
Or you don't. You can't take anything from the man. Tremendous wrestler, knows techniques, moves, poetry in motion. Steve Collins, on the other hand, has been a fine junior heavyweight champion. A man who doesn't have a quitting bone in his body, always intense and ready to fight. And that brings us to this point in the match. Neither man really has gained a tremendous advantage over the other, although you see Lord Norman begin to put some punishment on Steve the Party Animal Collins in the corner. Snap there on Steve Collins. And Norman moves right in on his man. Frankie Reyes, I'm sure, asking Steve Collins if he would like to submit. I don't think we're going to see that, folks. As the crowd picks up the chant of party. Lord Norman still with that headlock on Steve the Party Animal Collins. Almost looks like he could be choking him. Frankie Reyes there right on top of the action, though, says no.
Steve Collins has got a knee injury. The way he's walking, I had a serious one myself. That left knee of his, he is really favoring it. Unless he's decoying, I think he either banged it or twisted it. Who knows?
I think he twisted it. Earlier in the match, Lord Norman was delivering some right hands. Steve tried to step away, and I think he did do something to his knee. So you get a good shot of the left knee, and you will, if you keep an eye on it, he will favor that knee. And that's why I think he's having a hard time gaining leverage and able to stand back up. Lord Norman continuing with the headlock on Steve the Party Animal Collins. This is for the Global Wrestling Alliance Television Championship, presently held by Lord Norman. Global Wrestling Alliance. Collins off the rope, steps over on Lord Norman. Oh, shoulder block by both men. I believe they have hit their heads also. But he is tentative on it.
Sleeper.
Into the sleeper hold. Steve Collins has Lord Norman in the sleeper hold.
Here come the troops.
And it was only a matter of time.
Don't know how to act. Number 3, I think even the referees are against us, and I cannot understand why.
Possible sanctions against that sort of thing.
Well,
Steve who? The Black Wrestling Association is one of the most fulsome and potentially best wrestling alliances in the world today. I know I've traveled all around the globe many, many times, and right here you see some of the most powerful and aggressive wrestlers